Toxic masculinity.
Trevor Noah admits it was foolish to praise Cuomo.
Yes, this is kind of a cool story, actually. This is one of the few times that I have ever had something nice to say about a leftist. And I actually went on and I defended Andrew Cuomo a couple days ago on the show.
Yeah,
and now
about
I'm going
the
to say
sexual
something nice
harassment?
about Trevor Noah. And I don't like Trevor Noah. I think Trevor Noah is a dick. That's what I think of Trevor Noah. And here's the reason I think that, okay? Because when the Covington High School thing came about, I mean, despite he always says nasty things about Trump, but that's sort of typical of a leftist in Hollywood. I don't really give him much. I don't really have a problem with Trevor Noah for that reason. What I don't like about Trevor, what really pissed me off about him, is what he said about the Covington kids. When they did that, when the Covington situation came about, he remarked about it after it was exposed as fake news, right? Because originally it was reported that these Covington boys had, you know, been harassing this old Indian man, right?
Maybe old Indian man was harassing the boy.
Well, that's exactly what it was, right? So then it turned out, oh, actually, the Indian guy was harassing the boys. The boys were just standing there minding their own business. He came up to them, started hitting this drum in their face. So everybody in the media was like, ooh, crap. We made a big mistake. Now, they wouldn't admit to making the mistake. They just said, well, he you know, that boy, what was it, that chick from, I think it was ABC or NBC, I don't know, Savannah Guthrie. She goes,
wasn't it so, what did she say?
there's something
creepy, not creepy.
not creepy. No. It was,
you know what
I think
said.
she said there's something aggressive about just standing there. Go ahead and do the impression. I want to see it. She said, isn't there something, I think the word she used was aggressive. Isn't there something aggressive about just standing there, standing your ground?
Not aggressive. I don't think it was the word aggressive.
Well, whatever she said. Anyway, she's a horrible person. And she was sitting there trying to defend the media for inappropriately accusing this kid of harassing this guy and sort of implying that they're racist, right? And the whole thing turned out to be a hoax. The whole thing turned out to be fake news, a big lie. And instead of taking ownership for making the mistake, everybody in the media was like defending themselves. No, we're awesome. So this guy, what's his name? Trevor Noah. So Trevor Noah comes out and he addresses this whole confrontation after having known everything. He didn't have to say anything. He could have just said, either completely ignored the topic, or he could have said, yeah, I mean, the media came out and they said something too soon and blah, blah, blah. And he did say all that stuff. But he also said this. He said, but did you see how smug that kid looked? He just looked so smug. And he said, I've heard a lot of people say, like, oh, I just wanted to punch that kid in the face. He looked so smug. And he kind of defended this as if this was okay. Like, it's okay to hate somebody because you don't like their facial expression when you're attacking them. This Indian guy goes up and he's smashing a drum in this guy's face. And because the media doesn't like the look of the kid's face, it's okay to punch him in the face? Like, what the hell's wrong with you people? It's a freaking teenager. So what if they have a hat on that you don't like, that you don't like the politics of, right? See, the problem is they're so delusional. They've associated Donald Trump with racism. They've associated these Donald Trump supporters with racism. And so now they believe that they're justified in saying that you should be able to punch Trump supporters in the face. They've gone completely mental, you know, and they're still there. Even though Trump's out of office, they're still there. They're still in their sort of Trump derangement syndrome insanity. So that really pissed me off about Trevor Noah. But now I'm going to defend him because that's the kind of guy I am. So here, Trevor Noah mocks people who praised Andrew Cuomo last year after calling himself a Cuomo-sexual.
Cuomo-sexual.
But the funny thing is, he does recognize that he actually basically effed up, right? He basically effed up. So let's go ahead and watch this. I think this is pretty great.
And I'll tell you, man, all those people who praised Cuomo so highly last.
Sorry, I tend to watch
That's how
things.
you watch
I
YouTube videos.
tend to watch things in 2x. Because I don't have enough time.
Chris
There's
does
not enough time in the day.
for anything.
I don't have time. Oh, okay, let's play.
People who praised Cuomo so highly last year, whew, those people really don't look so smart now. Delete the tapes, delete them all. I mean, it must be so embarrassing. Can you imagine if you're one of those people? Just burn them. I don't give a shit. Burn them. Yeah.
So he's obviously making a joke here
Mhm.
about how he was one of those people. He messed up, and I think that's a beautiful thing. You know what? If he's willing to own up to it, this is one of the very rare times I've seen a leftist own up to it. So Trevor Noah, I know you watch my show. Uh, no, of course he doesn't. Valeria just looked at me like, really?
For a second, I believed you.
I highly doubt he has any idea who I am. Um, but anyway, yeah, Trevor Noah, I know you're watching. Good job. I mean, respect. You saw a mistake that you made and you owned up to it. Okay, let's go ahead and play what he actually said about Andrew Cuomo, which I think is actually quite funny. Let me just make sure I've got the audio on for this. Yes, I do. All right.
We are back with Trevor Noah. So do you watch, I know, and I also saw you talk about on the news that you can't watch the news that much because it's too depressing. You watch in the morning, you get a little recap at night, but you must be having to keep up with it for your show.
Yes, I keep up with information, but I think people must be careful about what they watch to like as news. You know, one thing that is an unfortunate byproduct of having 24-hour news in America is they'll always fill the news. And so I always warn people, I go like, be careful, something bad can be happening,
Hold on,
but it's not the worst thing because we're helping people a little more informed.
Ridiculously silly and
Which
have
is
a
equally
guy
important.
standing. Well,
Which
yeah,
is
I
equally
mean,
important.
yes, for sure. And I talked to Gavin Newsom, and I'm talking to people to help spread the
Who's
word
that
on some
guy?
things that are
Sorry.
important. And I know, obviously that's mainly what
I
you
think
do.
it's a gag
So
for her show. Yeah.
what are your thoughts on Sanders dropping out and endorsing Biden?
I think it's great to see.
Hold on,
your kids,
sorry, I've obviously
and then
missed the
when your
spot.
kid has a birthday party, I warn people, I go like, be careful not. Yes.
What have I done?
Something bad can be happening.
I've lost the spot.
Than
Yeah,
having to
and if
teach
anybody
your kids things
deserves,
you don't. Trevor, you call yourself a Cuomo-sexual, and I agree with you. I feel like I'm a Cuomo-sexual too.
Yeah, I think it genuinely has been very inspiring and refreshing to see a leader like Cuomo, Andrew Cuomo, the governor of New York, who's come out and engaged his briefings in a non-political way. He's engaged them as a leader. He's engaged them as a human being. He's also taken blame for things where he says, look, I understand that I'm doing certain things that people are going to hate me for, and I'm willing to make these decisions because I think it's the best thing for human life first. We can always create business afterwards. I think he's been informative. I think he's been informed. And like once I saw people online falling in love with him, there's a group of women who came out and they said, we're falling in love with Cuomo. And I said, well, yeah, everyone should be a Cuomo-sexual in that way. Like you should love a leader who engages the people and remembers that they're serving the people as opposed to, the people working for them. So any leader who's doing that in a crisis, I applaud them.
The bar for leaders
Anyway, it's obviously just, he's a delusional sycophant, right? He hates Trump, right? A lot of this has to do with Trump derangement syndrome.
Sure?
Yeah, it's a lot of this has to do with the fact that we want to contrast what Trump's doing with what Andrew Cuomo's doing. And the reports had been out at the time that he said this. The reports had been out about the nursing home situation and, how bad Andrew Cuomo would actually F things up over there in New York. But the left didn't want to hear about it. The left didn't want to see it. They didn't want to hear it. They didn't want to think about it. They were doing this and they were doing this and they were doing this all at the same time. And, he's out there talking about how great Cuomo is. It's like you wouldn't have had to make a joke about how you were so stupid a year ago if you just paid attention to what was happening. But the left doesn't want to watch Fox News. They want to read Breitbart. They don't want to read the New York Post. They don't want to read the opinion section of the Wall Street Journal. They don't want to think about these things that are happening in reality because they want to live in their leftist bubble. And this is the consequence of that. I mean, the problem that I see is there's no serious consequence. He just gets to make another joke, about a self-deprecating joke on his show. There's no actual consequence for pushing this false narrative. You get Cuomo, you get Biden elected president, legitimately or illegitimately, whatever.
Legitimately, just for YouTube monetization right here.
Legitimately elected president. And
I can't pronounce this word. Fair election.
Fairly. Because of people like him, partially at least, he's responsible for the Biden win in some small way. and he blocked that news. He pretended that wasn't real, and now it's all come out that it is real. And people like him look silly, but there's no real serious consequence, and it's a bit of a shame. It's a bit of a shame. And I do applaud him for taking responsibility for being wrong, for admitting that he was wrong. But I don't think that he would ever do that if the leftist media hadn't finally recognized that Cuomo had messed up. And actually, I don't even think he would have done it had this sexual assault allegation stuff, sexual harassment stuff come out. But sexual harassment stuff is so stupid, by the way. It's so stupid. Oh, Andrew Cuomo flirted with me and I didn't like it because he's ugly. Like, if Andrew Cuomo was a very good-looking guy, if he was like, young Brad Pitt, these girls wouldn't be complaining. All the stuff that he did was only sexual harassment because he's ugly. So I'll ask Valeria this. Valeria.
Yes.
If a very, very handsome man, say me, if you're single, right?
Okay.
Had out of the blue bought you flowers, would you think it was romantic or would you think it was creepy?
Romantic.
Now, if a very, very ugly guy out of the blue buys you flowers, like say that guy on the movie set that was irritating you today, would it be romantic or creepy? Your face says it all, I think. Your look of total disgust.
Well, it's not creepy.
Yeah.
But nice try, because he at least
Nice.
has some balls
Okay.
to buy me a flower.
See, we live in Beta, California, where guys don't even have the balls to make grand romantic gestures
No,
or
because
anything.
the problem is that guys are so scared
Yeah.
that flowers can be perceived
Yeah.
as a sexual harassment.
Well, that's my point.
Now everything perceived as sexual
Exactly.
harassment.
Right.
The wrong look.
See, the problem is I'm
You know?
asking somebody who's a little bit too sensible. I need to talk to a leftist girl but
I'm
I
Russian. You're talking to wrong girl.
Yeah, exactly. But I do think that there is a perception amongst women naturally to some degree that if a guy goes up to you and like puts his hand on your arm or something like that and you find him attractive, you'll be like, oh, that's nice. But if you put your hand on your arm and you think he's ugly, you'll be like, that's gross. Get away from me.
I don't like the word ugly.
What do you mean you don't like the word ugly? So there's no ugly people in the world?
There is people who I don't attracted to. And there's people who I'm attracted to by their look.
Okay, my God.
I don't like cold people.
Valeria,
ugly.
Valeria, let's step out of fantasy world into reality. There are ugly people. It happens. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the most, I would say, oppressed group of people. Not
Yes.
black, not Asians, not
Yes.
ISIS.
Yes, that's something that I've been saying for years. If black people say they got it bad, women say they got it bad, LGBT says they got it bad. You've only really got it bad, guys, if you're horribly ugly. That's the class of people who I feel sorry for. Because I went to school with some ugly people and
people treating you by your look first.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
First.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and
And
then,
not everybody all the time, but a lot of people a lot of the time do treat people positively or negatively, at least at first when they first meet you, by how well dressed you are, by how handsome you are, by how beautiful you are, whatever it is. The visual aspect of people is very strong. People are motivated by that quite a bit. So it's just human nature. It's maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. I don't know, but it is how it is.
Okay, I think we have to move on to the next.
We're
story.
okay. Yeah, we're
We
taking a little
have
bit too
10
much
minutes
time.
and we have 2 topics.
All right.
Okay.
Next topic. Let's go.
Biden bans reporters from child migrant detention facilities. Did I pronounce it wrong? Migrant?
Migrant? Yeah,
Yeah.
no, migrant. That's right.
I'm so awesome. Sorry, guys.
Biden administration will not allow reporters to tour migrant detention facilities.
Even like CNN, MSNBC,
No one. And they're saying it's because of COVID. You're not allowed in the migrant facilities. It's not because we don't want you to broadcast pictures of kids in cages. Toxic Masculinity. Weekdays, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific.